The city's skyline glittered, a mosaic of steel and glass catching the fading afternoon light. Within their high-tech headquarters, the Baxter Building, the Fantastic Four found themselves in a rare moment of quiet. The latest interdimensional threat had been neutralized, the cosmic villain apprehended, and for a fleeting instant, the world seemed to hold its breath. Reed Richards, ever lost in thought, meticulously recalibrated a quantum stabilizer. Sue Storm, for force fields momentarily dormant, watched over Franklin. Ben Grimm, the Thing, sat on a custom reinforced couch, a slight frown on his rocky brow, while Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, playfully flickered a small flame above his palm, a restless energy about him. A strange lull had settled upon them, a quiet unease that often followed intense periods of cosmic danger. They were heroes, yes, but even heroes needed a purpose, a challenge. Unbeknownst to them, their destiny, their very next challenge, was at that very moment being debated, not in a hidden lair or a distant galaxy, but in a rather unassuming office just a few blocks away. Imagine, if you will, a different kind of chamber, one filled not with scientific marvels or alien tech, but with the scent of ink, the rustle of paper, and the vibrant, almost palpable energy of creation. This was the hallowed, yet delightfully chaotic space where the architects of these heroes, the very weavers of their narrative threads, conducted their daily work. In an office buzzing with the hum of impending deadlines, two figures, almost mythical in their own right, sat across from each other. One, a man with a booming voice and an infectious enthusiasm, Stan Lee. The other, quiet, but with eyes that sparkled with boundless imagination, Jack Kirby. They were in a bit of a bind. It was time for Fantastic Four number 10, and a fresh challenge was needed for Marvel's first family. The previous issues had seen them battle Mole Man, the Skrulls, and even their own cosmic powers. But for issue number 10, something more substantial was required. A new villain, one who could truly push them to their limits, both physically and emotionally. Stan, ever the wordsmith, leaned back in his chair, a mischievous glint in his eye. "All right, Jack, my man, we need a new nemesis for our fearless foursome. Something grand, something spectacular." Jack, already sketching, his pencil flying across the page with incredible speed, grunted in agreement. "Yeah, but what? We've done the subterranean menace, the shape-shifting aliens, need something fresh, something with a real punch." They batted ideas back and forth, the air thick with creative energy. Perhaps a giant robot, too generic. A master of disguise, done before. A mad scientist with a death ray. A classic, but they needed a classic for this series. As they conversed, the very fabric of reality seemed to thin. The Fantastic Four, in their quiet moments in the Baxter Building, felt an odd ripple, a sense of being observed, a faint murmur of voices that weren't their own. It was as if they were catching snippets of a conversation from another room, a conversation that oddly felt like it was about them. "How about," Stan mused, tapping his pen against a notepad, "a guy who's super smart, maybe even smarter than Reed, and he's got a really cool look, like maybe a suit of armor, a metal face?" Jack paused, his pencil hovering. His eyes narrowed, a flicker of inspiration ignited. The idea began to take shape on his pad, a rough but powerful outline. A figure emerged from the lines, a towering, imposing presence, clad in formidable armor, a menacing mask concealing his features. The very essence of power, intellect, and relentless ambition began to bleed onto the page. "And he's not just a bad guy," Jack added, a new intensity in his voice. "He's got a personal vendetta against Reed, a rival from their past, maybe. Someone who feels wronged, who believes he's the true genius." Stan's face lit up. Yes, a brilliant mind, twisted by arrogance and a lust for power. A monarch, perhaps, from some tiny, forgotten European country who blames Reed for his own downfall? And just like that, in a moment of collaborative brilliance, a legend was born. Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom, the Latverian monarch, the metal-faced tyrant, the ultimate adversary for the Fantastic Four. This was more than just a brainstorming session. This was a playful, audacious breaking of the fourth wall, a moment of meta-commentary that would become a hallmark of the early Marvel style. Stan and Jack, the very architects of the Marvel Universe, appeared as themselves, discussing their own creations as if they were real people, living, breathing characters whose next adventure was being crafted in real time. It was a knowing wink to the reader, an acknowledgement that while these stories were fantastic and immersive, they were also fundamentally stories. And in that same stroke, it connected the reader, the creators, and the characters in a uniquely intimate way. This charming and innovative piece of storytelling wasn't just a gimmick. It served to establish the unique and often self-aware tone of the Marvel Universe. Unlike many of their contemporaries, Marvel wasn't afraid to pull back the curtain, to show the gears turning, to invite the reader into the creative process. It fostered a sense of camaraderie, an almost conspiratorial bond between the people making the comics and the people reading them. It said, "We know these are fictional, but aren't they wonderfully real to us? And isn't it fun to pretend, just for a moment, that we're all in on the secret?" It was this playful spirit, this willingness to experiment with narrative forms that set Marvel apart and helped solidify its position as a groundbreaking force in comic book history. The creation of Dr. Doom, a villain who would go on to terrorize not just the Fantastic Four, but the entire Marvel Universe for decades, became intertwined with the very origin story of his creator's own appearance within their pages. So, the next time you encounter Dr. Doom, standing imperious and unyielding, remember his unusual genesis. Remember that pivotal moment in Fantastic Four number 10, when the greatest villain was not merely conceived, but practically willed into existence by the very hands that drew his world and the voice that spoke his name. It's a testament to the magic of storytelling, the genius of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and the enduring, self-aware charm that continues to define the Marvel Universe. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this truly unique moment in comic book history. What other instances of creators stepping into their own stories resonate with you? Share your insights and favorite fourth wall breaking moments in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through a truly fantastic piece of comic lore, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more tales from the rich tapestry of pop culture. Until next time, true believers.